Hello, hello, hello. We are making a video together, my baby dog and I. And we have the day for ourselves here. Paul is at the other house. He brought a whole load of clutter to the other house because we have to move everything out of this house. And guess what happened? I was cleaning out my closet and I knew it. I got my Casio watch back. Isn't that something? I paid $100 and Paul said, "No, you lost it at the beach. It fell off." I would have noticed that, if it had fallen off at the beach. I would have felt it because I'm very sensory perceptive about this Casio watch on my wrist. So this is a beautiful, 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 beautiful watch. And it matches the walls of this house. It is an off-white, which I absolutely love. It is the most beautiful, beautiful, beautiful color in the whole world. Because when I was missing the watch, when I didn't know I had stored it up in that shelf in one of those boxes. So for years this went on. I was on the internet looking for a new Casio watch and they didn't have this color anymore. They had pink and they had nice pinks and stuff like this, but not this amazing off-white. So this watch is still preserved like totally factory new, and I am so infinitely grateful to the blue god that I found my watch again. Yay! This is so incredibly nice. So it is 5:52 p.m. Tuesday, 6/21, 2022. So that is what we have right now. Yes. And it's nice and even shows the moon cycles. That's really nice. And it automatically adjusts itself to daylight savings time, which I really like too. I used to have to constantly readjust my Casio watches in the past. I always had these here. I have bought these here since 1991 or 1992, somewhere there, like 1991, I think. I bought my very first one. That was a black one. They didn't have a lot of color variations at that time. My brother actually told me about this watch and he said, "Yeah, I've seen this really nice Casio, big, shock proof. That's what I need, because I've always been hanging out with Great Danes and horses, so I need shock proof." And my first Casio watch traveled with me to LA, where I went to primal therapy. And then in LA, I don't know, the battery lasted me for a long time. I think I even replaced the battery in my first one. And then I went back to Germany and I bought myself, because the black one was shot, I bought myself a red one, a red Casio, the same one, same size. And that also traveled with me to LA, and then I had the battery replaced one time or two times, I don't remember. And then I bought this one, I think in like 2013 or something, 2014, something like that. We still had Kenny. So yeah, and then I have worn it for like a year or two, and then I put it in that box somewhere around, I don't know, 2015 or 2016. And then I didn't know where I put it. And I think this happens to a lot of people. They will put they have a bunch of amazing stuff, even expensive stuff, and they store it somewhere, and then they can't find it anymore, and then they buy a replacement. Alright, and then by the time they move out of their homes, they pack everything up. Oh, I didn't even know I still had this. The other day I found two amazing comforters for the couch, completely new, factory new, put away in storage containers. I had already put those away, I don't know, like 5 years ago or something. I bought them because they're very, very nice. I bought them at the grocery outlet, I think, and or Walmart, I forgot where it was, and I really like them. And because I had just so many comforters and stuff, this wouldn't fit into the closet, so I had to put some of the stuff in storage containers. And now, the other day, I had the feeling I was gonna unearth a bunch of stuff that I forgot about it. And I found those, and I just vaguely remember that I bought those, and I was very happy. It's like it's like a present all over again. So it's really, really nice. And they collected some dust and some dust mites, and I just put them back into the same storage container. They're gonna be traveling with us to the other house, and then to the desert, of course. And I wanted to sort out a bunch of stuff, and I thought, oh, I have so much stuff, and I have literally a mountain of clothes, particularly a mountain of laundry. And so we have these really, really large cardboard boxes that come in handy now, that held 4 storage containers. So we need these really large cardboard boxes to put stuff in it, particularly my dirty laundry mountain. And then I just could not part with any of these things, because all of these are like, they hold memory of Kenny and the Papa Dog. They have Kenny's and Papa Dog's hair in them, so that's important. So yeah, that's what's going on. We are moving out of this house, and I love this house, and this house is my dream house. This house is the house that I wished for. I meditated on this house before we ever found this house. I meditated on it. I wished for it, and then I knew I had to let go of this wish, and something came up, a whale event. I was hosting a whale event in 2009, and I completely forgot about the housing market and all of that. I was completely 100% focused on hosting the whale event for the whales, to stop the Whaling Commission from opening up whaling again in the United States. Barack Obama is behind that. He wanted to open up whaling. Barack Obama wanted to allow the whalers to whale again on U.S. territory. He is not for the environment and the earth and the animals. Okay, he is for commerce that exploits. He's for the corporate agenda. He is the corporate agenda. Okay, and together that was a mass effort with all compassionate people. Together we made it work. We got it done. So we stopped them from allowing whaling again in U.S. territory. this is a step in the right direction. This is an effort that paid off, and we all worked on this, and we moved things towards making the world a better place. We protected these areas, but then beyond those areas of US territory, they don't have legislation over it, and the ocean is beyond nations, so the ocean is like, it's a wild pirate area, basically, and that's where the whalers go, and that's really horrific. So, but Sea Shepherd are doing a lot to stop the whalers, and they have done more than anyone else on Earth. They have saved thousands and thousands and thousands of whales over the years, since the 70s, the early 70s. So they're amazing. Okay, all of this needs to be said. It's very, very important. So yeah, I wished for this house, and after the whale event, after I put my mind completely on something else, then it had energetically time to come into fruition, and it's an energetic, it's energy work. That's what this is. You have to put your mind on something else. Okay, you have to do something completely different. You have to really focus on something completely different for quite a while, maybe for half a year, right? And I think that's what I did for like a year. I was doing whale petitioning and focusing very, very intently on this thing with the whaling, stopping the whaling, and protecting the animals and other animal rights stuff that we were involved in. And I also tried to help a gray whale around the same time, a gray whale. And there were 2 gray whales, mother and calf, and all of that happening. And there, at the same time, there was a sea lion in the harbor with a fishing net band deeply embedded into the neck, where he had been caught already when he was young, and then he was growing, and the fishing band was tight around the neck, and he was still growing, and the flesh grew literally over it, and then it caused infections, and it was all raw flesh, and I felt horrific for that sea lion. And so I was working on that also very, very, very intensively. So all of this went on for a year, and the people, they didn't listen to me. Nobody helped us. No one was able to help us until maybe the same sea lion swam all the way to the harbor in San Francisco. Though that's a long, long way to travel. I don't know if this was the same sea lion, if he made it all the way to San Francisco. I hope this was the same sea lion, because in San Francisco they really put pressure on the same person that I tried to get to help me. And she's located in San Francisco, but it wasn't until the local newspapers in San Francisco started to talk about her that she wasn't helping the sea lion. That's when she decided, I guess it's time to help. Yeah. She had no other choice, right? Because people were already, the newspapers were writing about her, and she was not looking so good in the public view anymore. And she, she has the Marine Mammal Center there. She depends on the public's approval and donations. So she decided, okay, we better help then. Yeah, we are good. We're helping. No, she's only helping because of public pressure. Okay. Otherwise, she wouldn't do anything. It's sad, all of this. Very, 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 very sad, all of this. So, yeah, but that's why I talk about these things. I have to talk about it. So, after 1 year, I decided I am going back on realtor.com. And on the first search, the very first home that was listed all the way on the top was this house. And I was like, oh, my dream house. Okay, and it took me over a year to talk Paul into even looking at the house. Okay. So we had to kind of make a deal. So if we want to look at that one, you have to also look at this one. Okay. And so he looked at this house, and as soon as he saw the house, like right up front, and inside, he was like, oh my goodness, that's a house that they have in Bel Air. And so because of the water damage and all of this, the banks wouldn't give people loans. And because of that, we are cash buyers. We got the house for $200,000, but this is a $1 million house, okay? And that's really, really, really cool. And we did a lot of work on the house. But then the deck was brittling off, and because of this, now we have to reduce the price. Obviously, I originally wanted to get 800,000, but we have to go down to 600,000 because of the deck. So we're gonna put it on the market for 600,000. This is a biodynamic park garden, huge, and the house is surrounded by cedar trees, which is excellent to repel mosquitoes and other insects. Really fantastic energy here, really great. And I'm also gonna be leaving some of my artwork in here to protect this entire property and to give these people good energy healing as a reward for buying our house. But some of the paintings, because you don't want to put all of your gold bars in one basket. You have to put your gold bars into different baskets. I want to also ask my friend from Germany, Barbara's son, because they know a lot of people, so if he wants some of my artwork, or if he knows a gallerist, so it can't hurt to ask. So it's always good to ask. Ask around, So far, my search for gallerists has not been successful because the gallerists that I contact always say, are you known? And I say, I am known by maybe 5 people on YouTube. I don't know. And then they go, I'm not gonna buy art from someone who's not known. Okay. And then how is that person ever going to publish their work, okay, if they will constantly be turned down by gallerists? Okay, so that's my question. These 2 homes that we have are flowing over with my artwork. They are flowing over. The staircase is full of my artwork, the living room, the other house, and I'm constantly adding more because I I can't stop painting, so I'm just constantly making more. Right now I'm making a children's toy. I'm making a car, a play car for children out of a, it's about this long, over a foot, and about this wide and about this deep. A piece of the balcony, a relic from the balcony, so that Paul had to also cut into little pieces already in order to replace certain parts of the deck. He's already tried to protect the deck, but this part of the deck is falling down, but it's okay. I actually like the way it looks better than it was in 2010 when the railing was up, and the railing was like halfway blocking the view into the forest. So now and nothing is blocking the view. I can see all the way into the forest without the railing there. So, and it looks really, really nice. I like it. So he already put some kind of self-made guard over on that side, so that the dogs or heavy animals cannot, or bears cannot go through there and potentially have this risk of falling off. So that's very, very nice. He put this guard gate sort of that doesn't open. It's completely closed and safe. So this is really nice. And then eventually, I guess they're gonna also have to. The next person has to block that off on that side as well. So, but that's okay, So nobody has to walk on this. And also, that keeps the property tax down. So the deck being like this doesn't hurt the house at all. So, and it can't fall, it can't brittle off that much more. It's kind of like the main part that was loose has fallen down, and Paul has already also taken some of the boards down. So, but this house is still my dream house, even though it has water damage, and the contractor who originally built this house in 1983, they probably charged over $1 million. So, for making this house. So, and they skipped some costs, and they didn't use pressure treated wood, and there's a bunch of issues, where they didn't do a very good job on it. But overall, the house is very solid, and even with the water damage, Paul fixed all of these things. So it's very, it slumps down slightly in this direction, but just very slightly, and upstairs too. But that doesn't bother anyone. So it's minutely in a little bit slant, because someone before us had a broken water pipe. They didn't turn the water off when they left for several months, and then the water flooded the whole house and caused the floor to get warped a little bit. So the different people who lived here, each person has, I don't know if each person, but some of these people, they made mistakes, and the contractor made mistakes. So, but it's still my dream house, okay, nevertheless, okay, and we got this, and because of the problems, we got this house. And so now it's time for us to sell the house, because Joe Biden and whoever is gonna be the successor of Joe Biden is gonna tear the economy down, okay? And so it's the time to sell, okay? And then we need the money desperately, okay? And then we're going to move to the desert eventually and also sell the other house. So now I talked for 25 and plus minutes about our situation here. What I really want to talk about is what Joe Biden is doing. Kind of ties in with this in some roundabout way. We're selling the house because of the Biden administration. So, because if Donald Trump had stayed in office, the real estate market would have flourished. The housing value would have gone up and up and up, keep on going up. This house would go up to over $1 million if Donald Trump had stayed in office and had been reelected. So, but the corporate agenda got Biden in against the democratic wish of the public. Donald Trump had the vast majority of the votes, more than Hillary Clinton had and Al Gore had. They also had the majority, and they were still ousted by the corporate agenda. But what they did this time is this is more brazen than ever. It's like, they pulled every string. They did every fraud there is in the book, the corporate agenda, to get Biden in, and against the wish of the public. It's horrific, yeah. So, yeah, the Biden administration, they're not just continuing the Carter administration, it's exponentialized, okay? And this is what I call Malgenics. Okay, so that's why I'm going to call this video Malgenics. And the other one I call Eugenics, the other video that I made yesterday. And this has been going through my head, and I've been really wanting to talk about this very much, because all of these things are so incredibly important to talk about. You have no idea. Okay, most people, even scholars, even educated people, even intellectual people are not informed about the situation here. They are not informed about the corporate agenda, what they're doing. The corporate agenda uses Malgenics. Malgenics is much worse than eugenics. Much worse. And I talked about this in length yesterday. I don't want this to be hijacked into the wrong direction. That's why I keep on repeating myself. This is not about race. This is not about ethnicity. I made this very crystal clear. Okay, so because some eugenicists, Adolf Hitler included, have made it into ethnicity and into genes, they have made it into ethnic gene issues, okay, where there are none at all, okay. And I explained that yesterday in detail. Even if there's a statistical outcome like that, we can still not do this based on ethnicity. It's unethical to do that, okay. But we can say eugenics in terms of we want good people. We want kind-hearted humans on this planet. The human with hands, with a thumb, creating things, and the prefrontal cortex and the cortical overlapping, geary and sulky that they have more of than the other primates, okay, makes the human into potentially a very dangerous species, which, not just potentially, it is a dangerous species. Okay, the most dangerous species on this planet is the human, the Homo sapiens. Okay, I want to make this very crystal clear. And the reason why is because of Malgenics. Okay, so now I want to explain this in detail. What is Malgenics and what is eugenics? Eugenics, first of all, if it is applied in a race, ethnicity type of way, it is unethical. Okay? If it's applied in a way like, let's say, you go to the animal shelter, a public animal shelter, they're flowing over with dogs. There's another issue, that's another issue and another subject that I can talk for 10 hours straight about it. But I won't do it right now. Let's just focus on the eugenics part of this. A public animal shelter cannot be a no-kill shelter. And the reason why is because if they became a no-kill shelter, they could not rescue any further animals, okay? And there are animals coming in, like in the bigger cities or the suburbs, there are animals coming in like 10 dogs per day or more, okay? That were either just delivered there from some kind of pit bull breeder and I mean, this is even the better situation. The worst situation is if the pit bull breeder doesn't even bring the dog who won't fight to the animal shelter. They will do terrible things, they would abandon the dog, or I mean, I don't even want to get into the details of this now, what I have seen already, okay? So, but some of them get rescued. Not all of them get rescued, okay? That there is an overload of suffering happening, okay? And the good Samaritans, the good kind-hearted people, when they see a suffering animal, they instantly, they won't stop until they have saved that animal, myself included, okay? So we want those people that save animals, not the ones that breed dogs and make them fight with each other, where they butcher each other up until one dies, okay? Those people we do not want, okay? And that's the eugenics I'm talking about. We don't, and this has nothing to do with ethnicity. If ethnicity happens to be statistically congruent with that, then that is not the fault of the person who says we want to get rid of violent humans. It's not our fault. If that particular group, let's say, again, speculating, hypothetically, if they all do these kind of things, then they caused that stigma onto their own ethnicity, not other people. Okay, I want to make this very, very crystal clear. So you go into an animal shelter, let's say in San Jose, flowing over with pit bulls who won't fight, who are kind-hearted. Maybe some of them do, maybe some of them are aggressive. Okay, so, and yes, some dogs in general who are coming into the animal shelters may be aggressive, or they may be aggressive when they're eating, okay? Those are the very first ones that get euthanized, Okay. They eventually have to euthanize the other ones as well, because if, let's say, there isn't even an aggressive dog, and there are only kind-hearted dogs that are deposited there by pit bull breeders that fight their dogs because they can't use them, because those dogs are Buddha level or God level. They won't fight. They refuse to hurt another living being. They bring them there, and then eventually, because they're flowing over with those dogs, they have no other choice other than to euthanize healthy young dogs, pit bulls and other dog breeds. Okay, it's horrific. I talked to a woman on YouTube a couple of years ago, animal rights activist lady, somewhere, I forgot where it was. She said she worked at the euthanasia animal clinic, animal shelter for 2 years. She said that's it. You cannot do it. She said she cannot do it longer than 2 years. That is, she had nervous breakdowns. She said this is hardcore for anyone, and she's doing this because she cares. Okay, she's volunteering because she cares that much. Okay, a courageous person. I could not even do this. I couldn't. I would be breaking down every single day. It's even hard for me to go into an animal shelter and see all of those dogs wanting desperately to come home with me. And I can't. Okay, I can only have one dog, maximally two. Okay, so, and anyone who thinks they can make an animal shelter out of their house, they don't know what they're doing at all. Okay, those people are called hoarders, and this situation is really bad. Most hoarders neglect their animals. They're flowing over with animals, and they have this idea that they need to save these animals from euthanasia, just so that the animals then end up suffering horrifically for the rest of their lives. Okay, that's their religious upbringing, their religious way of thinking. They have been drilled into them that euthanasia is somehow bad. Okay. That's it's brainwashing. It's not good. Okay, and that whole word brainwashing is not even the right word. So it's indoctrination. It's like these people. It's conditioning. They have been brain conditioned. That's what it is. So they need to wash the brain conditioning out of their brain. Then they have a clean brain. So that's what they need to do. So, but the animal shelters, they have no other choice. They can't be no-kill shelters. In order to save more dogs, to rescue more dogs and give them at least a month, and do medical treatment and neutering and spaying and taking good care of them and healing their wounds, giving them a month to see if someone will come in and adopt the dog. Okay, so, and from those dogs that come in and bite a rubber hand, they have a rubber hand on a broomstick, okay, and they put the rubber hand into the food dish with the dog while the dog's eating, and if the dog bites the rubber hand, he is out on death row. Okay, those are the very first ones, and they have to do it. They have no other choice. This is eugenics. Okay, this is genocide. So also genocide, is not automatically eugenics. Eugenics can be, genocide is a form of eugenics. That's the violent form of eugenics. There's another form of eugenics, which is breeding animals, or any animal, the human animal, breeding a living being according to health and kindness and cooperativeness and being kind to others. Okay, so breeding them in a very specific direction. Adolf Hitler tried to do that also. Okay, so that part, this is, if there's force involved in this kind of stuff, it's unethical right there. Okay, you can't the Muslims are forcing women, they're forcing their daughters into marrying someone of their choice, not of the daughter's choice. That's the same principle that Adolf Hitler did. Adolf Hitler probably forced some girls into marrying another Aryan or whatever. Okay, and they didn't want that other Aryan. They wanted the Latino instead. Okay, so now that goes against evolution, that goes against biology, and this goes against psychology, and it is unethical to force a woman to be with a man they don't choose. Okay, right there. It's unethical. There's no freedom involved in that. So that's why it's probably not gonna work for us humans, okay, I really am into Latino men with big butts. But if the person is violent, I cannot do it. Okay, I can't. Okay, this is a form of eugenics, if you want to call it that. Okay, and you probably get real mad at me. I will not engage with a violent man. Okay, it's not about the ethnicity again. I want you. I don't want you if you're violent. Okay, so the kind-heartedness is a priority over my sexual choice in men. Okay, so it is. Okay, I would choose a white. If there's a Latino who is violent and a white man with red hair who's not violent. My body wants the Latino, and my brain says, I don't want the psychopath. I have to take the other guy. Because even though my preference is with the Latino. Okay. So this is, again, just an example. There are Latinos out there who are kind-hearted too. I haven't found one yet, but I've seen them on YouTube. I've seen it on the internet. So there are some kind-hearted Latinos. Again, there are very few kind-hearted people in general from any ethnicity, okay? So, in general. That's why it's very hard. It's like, oh, I saw a kind-hearted person on the internet. This is like, wow, winner, like, God, interesting. Let's look at this kind-hearted specimen here. A weird person, some people will say. Weirdo. He's so kind-hearted. Okay. No, that's not weird. It's good. Okay, so I like kind-hearted people. And everyone should like kind-hearted people, and everyone should like kind-hearted dogs, and not abandon them or punish them or kill them or bring them to the animal shelter because they're kind-hearted and they don't do your horror game, okay? Your dog fighting and all of that stuff. So this is so crystal clear. This is ethics, okay? And eugenics has a very bad reputation because of some dictators like Adolf Hitler who have made it into an ethnic thing. Okay, so that's why. But if we can say eugenics, what does it mean? Let's analyze the word. EU means good. Okay, it comes from Latin or Greek. I don't know exactly. I think from Greek. EU means good. Euthanasia again. Good death. Thanasia. Thanos means death, so good death. Okay, euthanasia is good. It's good. It's better for the animals in the animal shelter to be euthanized than to be harbored in some kind of hoarder person's house that is soaked in urine and feces. Okay, so this is very crystal clear here what I'm saying. Okay, so that's why I approach no-kill shelters with apprehension, absolutely, unless they are supremely top-notch, like the one in Utah, Best Friends, and they can't take that many animals in because of that, because every animal who they have gets to live his or her full lifetime, okay, until someone comes and adopts the animal. And they have some people adopting the animals, but not as many people adopting the animals as the animals are coming in, of course. There are always more animals coming in. And the reason why is because the whole planet is based on Malgenics. Malgenics. Even evolution is quite malgenical, because even if it wasn't for human intervention, I'm going to get into Biden Malgenics in a moment. Even if it wasn't for human intervention, even evolution itself, nature doesn't necessarily weed out the bad apples, okay, the violent ones, okay. Some violent ones survive, like some lions survive, okay. Some lion psychopaths, there are psychopaths and lions, many of them, and they kill a male. They get the wife of that male, and the first thing they do, they kill they kill her babies, her baby cubs, and because they don't want the baby cubs with the genes from their competitor. So those are psychopathic lions. Some people will say, oh, this is some kind of, no, you're projecting blah 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 human psychology into it, or you're doing some kind of anthropomorphism. That whole word anthropomorphism has to go into the recycling bin right there. Okay, so I can talk about that also for 10 hours straight, that word by itself. Okay, that comes from Malgenics ultimately. Okay, so, and religion and all that stuff. Okay, so no, the animals are already like humans, and we are already like animals. There's no morphism happening. Okay, there's no projecting from me into an animal happening. There's no interpreting of a human characteristic into an animal happening. They already have the human characteristics. Okay, I want to make this very crystal clear, that Marine Mammal Center lady from San Francisco accused me of anthropomorphizing. Okay, so I mean that that person is so full of shit, it's unbelievable. And then she says she puts humans above the sea lion, and that it's not safe to rescue that was just a filthy excuse, So no, it's perfectly safe to rescue that sea lion with the fishing net embedded in the neck if enough people go out there, if animal rescuers, strong guys, and a veterinarian goes out there, and they can protect the sea lion from falling off the deck, while doing the I guess they have to do the remote shot, with the needle, the dart gun or whatever. So, and in order to sedate the sea lion, in order to get the sea lion on the boat, in order to bring the sea lion to the Marine Mammal Center and give him that medical treatment that he needs and deserves so desperately. So I can just go off into any direction here, okay, all the time, over and over and over and over. But eugenics, eu means good, genics is genetics, okay. Good genetics, if it's done ethically, if it does not look at ethnicity, it looks at personality, it looks at character, it looks at kindness factor, okay, compassion, okay. We need that. We need to apply this in the animal shelters. It is applied in public animal shelters. They have to apply that. The dog who bites the rubber hand cannot be adopted. That wouldn't be safe for other children, people, their other pets that they have. So those are the first ones that get euthanized. Good death. Okay, they don't have to suffer. Okay. So then eventually they're going to have to euthanize some of the good ones too if there are too many in the animal shelter and they can't take any more animals in. They have to make space. They have no other choice. All of this needs to be said. It's very, very important. But eugenics, good genetics, okay, that's all there is to it. Okay, and we don't make this into an ethnic issue. Okay. So we take any good person in the world, that they can be of any ethnicity, a good person, kind-hearted person who is not violent, okay? This is so incredibly straightforward. It cannot be more straightforward, okay? But I will be hated for saying this. There are people out there, believe it or not, there are religious fanatics out there who actually work their entire life with defense lawyers to get violent criminals out of prison. And I've seen that, people of different ethnicities that are doing this. It's just, what is going through these people's brains, okay? Why? Why be so feverishly interested in getting this violent, dangerous psychopath like a super predator out of prison and back onto the street so he can continue his violent behavior? And more animals and humans fall prey, okay? More beings are being victimized. I just don't understand. This is beyond my understanding. Totally beyond. I guess they're fanatically religious. This is some kind of religious mental illness, is that. That's the only way I can explain these kind of defense lawyers and their collaborators. I don't know what's going on in their heads. It must be religious, right? So, no, we have to, and again, prison is torture. Prison, putting any animal into a cage or prison or confined space, a whale into an aquarium at SeaWorld, or a dog in a crate, or a child locked up in a closet, or a human in a prison cell, is torture. Okay, I want to make this very crystal clear. That's the one thing I agree with Governor Newsom. That one thing I agree with him on. Okay, but you cannot put these violent predators back onto the streets. Okay, that you can't. So, what's the solution then for that? People will ask, right? Euthanasia. Okay, good death. This is so crystal clear, you know. They need to be euthanized, these violent people. And that needs to happen, okay? And I understand it is very, very problematic to have human executioners that will do that job. First of all, only someone who's not that well will do that job in the first place, and the job itself will also get to them after a while. Like the good lady who was working at the animal shelter, having to euthanize healthy young dogs because they had no other choice. The good person who did this because she cares, because she knows somebody has to do this, okay? So it got to her, okay? It was after 2 years she couldn't continue to do it. There's no way, okay? So someone who executes humans will not do this as a volunteer and would not do this because they care. Okay. That's my guess here. Most people who execute people sign up for this the same with people who get re-enlisted for war. Those are psychopathic people as well. Okay. And they may not be doing something, running amok on the street, butchering up any random being. They will not go against the law, but they're also psychopaths. But they do it within the law. Okay, so people who sign up for the military to go to combat, people who sign up to do a job like this in a prison, executing prisoners, okay, they don't do this because they care. That's my guess here. I don't know if there's any. There could be someone, maybe, but my guess is that would be extremely rare. That someone who cares will do this because they say someone has to do it and we need to get rid of these violent people. Right? The majority of executioners are already, to begin with, psychopaths who want to do someone in, you know, and they get a charge out of that. They're sadistic. And it's a complex psychological problem. I'm not going to get into that subject right now. That would also take at least 10 hours to discuss. But yeah, the executioners, that I wrote a paper at Santa Monica College about this. That was my stand against the death penalty. I said it would get to these executioners, and the executioners are doing this for the wrong reasons, and they're violent, and I had some rock solid arguments, and I stand by those arguments that this is a problem, okay, but it is an even much worse problem if we let these violent super predators back onto the street. That's a much worse problem, like uncomparably much worse, okay, than the issue of human executioners. Okay, so I had to think about this for over 20 years. I had to think about this again and again and again and again. It was bothering me, you know. It was really bothering me. I put my mind into this day and night. And I came to this conclusion now. So I don't know, it had unfolded itself now into a very crystal clear viewpoint. And over the last couple of years, particularly I would say over the last 2 years, I have come to this very clear view on it. Okay, so, and I'm just laying out to the world how things should be done in an ethical way. Okay, and this is what I strongly believe to be ethical, to euthanize violent criminals. Okay, it needs to be done. Okay, so I still have not even touched, and it's already an hour, I have not even touched on the word Malgenics. So, Joe Biden and the corporate agenda are doing Malgenics. Mal means bad. Genics means genetic. Bad genetics. Okay, mal comes from Latin, I believe. Okay, Old Latin means bad. It's negative. It's not good. It's not beneficial. Malgenics, not beneficial genetics. Okay, so this is, in nature, it keeps it sort of like 50-50. It's not good. It's not that bad. Okay, it's not necessarily all going all into the malgenics or into the eugenics in nature, right? It's kind of chaos, and it also keeps itself in a balance somewhat. The ecosystem with all of that, So the ecosystem is so complex, we cannot even put our minds into it. But when the human comes in and creates a eugenics based on ethnicity, that's unethical. If a human comes in and creates a eugenics based on kindness and compassion, we create a paradise on earth. Okay, this is truth. Okay, if a human comes in, Joe Biden, corporate agenda, okay, Governor Gavin Newsom, okay, if those people come in, and they come in from their religious and their greed factor and all of that, and they completely ignore nature, they completely ignore the ecosystem, they completely ignore our biology, they completely ignore justice and safety for the community. They come in and they will let a violent predator on the street. They won't euthanize the violent predators. They won't even castrate the violent predators. They let them continue to breed. Okay, and they, not only that, they will give financial incentives to people who are criminals, who are in prison, and who are on governmental support already. Okay, so they will give particularly extra financial incentives to specific areas, and this is where it gets a little tricky to talk about it, So specific areas where they think these people are underprivileged. Okay, so who falls into these particular areas where the real estate agent, the black real estate agent lady from Bel Air, says location, location, location? No, Inglewood, no, I am not going there. We're not going to Detroit. No, we're not. No, we're not going to Oakland. No, we're staying in Marin County or Bel Air, or, the good areas. We're staying around the nice tourist areas at the Great Lakes, right at Lake Ocean Front, and so they don't. None of those people would deal with those underprivileged areas. Okay, so nobody of any ethnicity would wants anything to do with this. Okay, and for a reason, because those areas are dangerous. Okay, and it's the people themselves, if they have a specific skin color or ethnicity, and they are violent, they have created the bad reputation onto themselves. Yeah, I cannot say this enough, okay? This is completely crystal clear. This has to be understood by everyone, okay? So that someone who talks about it, who is not of their ethnicity, is not being misunderstood and their message not hijacked into the wrong direction. Okay? Because the ego is so quick to do this. So quick, So this is not, overall, not about ethnicity. If a large area, it has 99% of a specific demographic, and they are 90% violent, then they have created this reputation onto themselves with their own violence. Okay, this is very crystal clear here. So Governor Newsom, they will give these underprivileged people even more money. They even go in there and rebuild their homes. They build them homes. They just throw our tax money at these people, and what they do is they demolish those new homes or the new apartments, and then landlords don't want to rent to these people anymore. Then the landlords are forced to rent to these people with affirmative action. You see the whole picture here, right? And then what they actually do with affirmative action is they throw fuel into the fire of racism on both sides. Okay? They make racism worse with these kind of incentives from the government. Okay? Forcing landlords to rent to violent people, to underprivileged people, criminals, so on. They get their criminal records expunged. It sounds a little bit better than erased, right? Most people don't even know what expunged means, right? They sponge it away like this. So it's affirmative action. Creates more racism in the world. And it not only that, it makes these underprivileged people, it basically gives them an extra label. The label with an extra big letter word. You are underprivileged, you can't make it, we have to help you. You're too dumb to make it. That's basically the message that they hear on a daily basis because of affirmative action. The whole thing is called Malgenics. Okay? Yes, baby dog. Malgenics. Baby dog agrees. Malgenics. Okay? So, yes, baby dog, it's okay. Nobody's out there. So, this whole subject, affirmative action is Malgenics. The corporate agenda uses Malgenics in order to create division. With division, they can sell more guns, they can make people more afraid, they can make people more gullible to vote their direction. If you really step away, look at the whole picture, you see this is the corporate agenda is cunning, and they really, really, really cash in on all of this. That's their chess moves that they play, okay? The average person does not see through this. The average person is being fire fueled by all of this. Black Lives Matter, we need to go against the white people are stepping on us like a rug. It's just fuel, right? And nobody is stepping on them like a rock. No one is, no. The corporate agenda throws that fuel into the ashes that have already almost, where the glow has almost gone completely out. The glow of racism. They throw that fuel, the gasoline into that glowing amber to make it inflamed again, okay? And they create more racism on both sides, okay? On the sides of the Asians and white people, and on the sides of the brown-skinned people, okay? Of all different nationalities. Okay. So we have this front. They created this front artificially with affirmative action. And they also do this to get votes, of course. They literally breed their voters that way. Okay. This is Malgenics. Okay. Not good. They breed people who are not compassionate. They breed violent criminals. This is Malgenics. I hope this is totally understood now. 111. Thank you, Blue God. Blue God says it is important to talk about this. Okay, now I completely explained what Malgenics is. Let's not go that direction. My appeal to the public is, let's do good genetics, okay, and understand what eugenics, ethical eugenics, really implies, okay. Good genetics. We want the kind-hearted dogs, we want the kind-hearted humans in this world, so that we can make this world into a paradise where we don't have to lock our doors and windows, or the car doors, where we don't have to have a bulletproof vehicle to drive through the city. Okay? So I hope that is understood and clear now. Peace and love for all living beings.